So you want to write these definitions either on paper, your Storify, or both as we go through this demo. And the demo is linked to the wiki page if you need to review this again. So the first law of Gestalt is the law of similarity. And this is that we group things together when they have something in common. Like we group things together when they are the same shape, size, color. So here we might group these things as the same shape. We might also group things when they are the same color or size. The next law is the law of proximity, and this suggests that as things are physically close together, we group them together. So see how these blocks move together? We sort of group them together. So when people are standing together versus somebody kind of standing by themselves, we tend to think that those people are somehow associated or friends once people are in a group, right? And physically close to each other, we sort of group them together. The next law is the law of closure, and this is that our brain fills in the missing information or the incomplete parts, and our brain basically fills in the gaps. So here we see an illusory triangle. Again, there's really nothing there, but our brain is filling in the picture. When those orange partial circles appear, our brain sort of fills in the missing parts. Another great example of closure is on the wiki page in this mind lab. It's so crazy, but your brain fills in a pink or reddish square in this image, even though really there's just pink at the end. So we see pink right here, but our brain perceives that there's a full or complete circle, and that's the law of closure. We fill in missing information or gaps. We sort of try to finish off the picture. Now we can do this with shapes, but we can also do it with letters that are difficult to see or incomplete. Our brain fills in the picture. The next law is the law of continuity, and this says we see basic images or smooth patterns in very complex stimuli. We see smooth patterns in complex stimuli. So I love this example for the law of continuity. We see a smooth backslash or forward slash when we look at an X. We don't see these odd angles of greater than or less than. I would draw this as an example of the law of continuity. So we see an X as a backslash or a forward slash and not a greater than or less than sign. The law of simplicity says that complex figures are overlapping. Again, this one is similar to the law of continuity in that we break things down in basic parts or overlapping images. What's interesting, right, is the blind people that we looked at who have been born blind but regained sight, their brain isn't able to perceive this. They might actually see a circle over a square as 3 different odd angles. But a normal person's brain doesn't break it down like this. We see it as a circle overlapping a square. The law of simplicity, this was the law of simplicity, is also known as the law of pragnance. So you might want to write that down with this one. It is known as the law of pragnance. So the law of simplicity says we break things down in basic overlapping parts, not odd or discontinuous angles. That's the law of simplicity or the law of pragnance. And the last one, the law of common fate, says that we group things together that move together. So see these red dots, because they're moving in a group, like birds flying in the sky in the same direction, we sort of group them together. For the law of common fate, things need to be moving for you to group them together, and they're moving in the same direction. When things are not moving in the same direction, right, it looks like chaos. We don't necessarily group these 3 red dots together. I have to thank Gary Fisk for this animation because it really helps to go over the laws of Gestalt. You want to make sure you include each law in your Storify or Perceptual Museum, and then you also want to take one of the 3D examples and apply 2 monocular cues that we talked about. So for example, this squirrel is overlapping the shark, which makes it look like she's being eaten by the shark. That would just be one example of that you would include in the Storify. Okay, thanks. Oh yeah, oh yeah.